Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video I'm going to discuss some of the questions that I received after my first video. So it's totally regarding the evaluating exam. So those who are in preparation for the evaluating exam or those who are planning to prepare for the evaluating exam, please do watch this video. Okay, let's go to www.pebc.ca and you'll see separate windows for the pharmacist and the pharmacy technician candidates. So let's choose international graduates, enter, and I'll see the different steps. And we have to check for the evaluating exam. And to the left hand side, you'll see a blue box which will tell you about the examination, preparing for the examination, examination scoring, and results. So about the examinations, it's going to be 4 hours and 25 minutes in length, including the computer-based. You'll have an orientation and the total examination, and again after the exam you'll have a post-examination surveys. And let's check out preparing for the examination. In this page you'll see 3 different things. One is the exam blueprint, which is the syllabus. The other one is the references, and the third one is the sample question paper. Okay, so just check out one by one. Let's check out the examination blueprint. So the examination subject areas are divided into 4. So 50% of the total questions will be coming from the biomedical sciences, which include the biochemistry, anatomy and physiology, immunology, microbiology, that's the main. Then the 25% would be coming from the pharmaceutics, pharmacokinetics, biopharmaceutics, medicinal chemistry, toxicology, clinical toxicology, biotechnology. Then again 50%, the half of the questions would be coming from the pharmacy practice, which is again divided, 35% of that 50% would be coming from the pharmacotherapeutics, which includes prescription, non-prescription, complementary therapy, clinical biochemistry, pathophysiology, health promotion and disease prevention, patient care process, and very important, the special population include geriatrics, pediatrics, pregnancy, and lactation. And then the 15% of the professional, 15%, which is the professional practice skills, the 15% of the 50% would be the prescription processing and product preparation, the calculations, very important, the drug information, patient counseling, literature and evidence-based medicine, medication and patient safety, professionalism, ethics, law and jurisprudence. And finally, the 10% of the examination would be coming from the behavioral, social, administrative, pharmacy service sciences, which includes the pharmacy management and the Canadian healthcare system is the main thing, and the remaining the pharmacoeconomics and the biostatistics. So these are the subject areas you would be concentrating on. And if you want to check in detail syllabus, that means as you saw the different subject areas, the subject areas are again divided into different subtopics. For example, biomedical sciences include biochemistry, genomics, molecular biology, human anatomy and physiology, medical microbiology. If you want to check under the biochemistry topic, you might see intermediary metabolism, which includes enzyme reactions, carbohydrate structure, function. So it's an elaborated syllabus. If you want to go through, you can go through. It's a 74-page syllabus, and you might get stressed. You might feel stressed when you see the syllabus, or you have to study the whole syllabus. So that's the reason why we have to be very focused on the topics and the questions that would come for the examination. So personally, if you have seen my previous videos, I took 3 to 4 months of coaching, which I'll be explaining it to you. And let's look at the references if you want to check. So this is the link to the references. Let's open. So for the evaluating examinations, the Universal Canadian Pharmacy reference is the CPS, Committee of Pharmaceutical Specialties. It's now online. The older versions were referred as RxTX. Now it's CPS. So it's online. I'll show you how to access that. And next, if you want to check each subject area and if you want to refer something, you can use this textbooks which are specific to the subject areas. For example, I have used a reference called Lipin Code, which is not in the reference, but I used it for the pharmacology. And this is also a reference I used for the calculations, the pharmacokinetic calculations in specific by Shargel. And we do have another clinical pharmacology reference called CATSIM. So using all of the references would be a difficult part for me. So would be a difficult task for you as well. So, and the other reference I used was the DIPRO for pathophysiological approach. And another major reference I would urge you to go through is Calculations by Stockton, which is a universal calculation reference. If you don't have it, just buy it, or you can get a PDF from any of the study groups. I'll show you how to get that. And the management portion, I didn't go through any of the references. I relied only on the coaching I received. And the internet resources that you can rely on, it's specifically for the management portion, which is the behavioral and social administrative portion, which is a 10%. These are the the federal organizations that you want to be aware of. You might receive questions from these organizations based on the topics. So I'll show you which is important. So the national drug schedules under the NAPRA is very important, and all the acts under the Health Canada is very, very important. You might receive repeated questions from the Health Canada. And CADTH, PRB, these are repeated questions as well. So you can just go through that as well. For the immunization, you'll see Public Health Agency of Canada. It's an important agency, so you have to go through that. ISMP is very, very important. You might receive questions based on the medication safety and the patient safety as well. CPSI is also an important reference. So if you want to go through the internet resources, that would be a great idea before the evaluating exam. You can go through that as well. And for the therapeutics, clinical practice guidelines plays a major role. For example, the hypertension and various cardiovascular diseases like ACS, whether it's arrhythmia, you can, it's very important that you get updated with the guidelines. So I went through the clinical practice guidelines for that. Diabetes, asthma, COPD, and antithrombotic therapy for PTs. These are very, very important. So I used the guidelines, and so these are the resources that is mentioned in this list. So let's check out how to get these. So basically, I used Telegram. So we do have Telegram groups, which is the PEBC exam 2024, and you can search for the files there. So you will see different, study materials that is being uploaded into the group. You can just here you have the Lipin code, and you can see different resources that you can get from the group. It's a public group. You can get in that. You don't need any permission to get in, so it's almost you can go through that. Okay, so this is a group where I gathered the references, and you'll see the pharmacology textbooks. You can use those as well. And the other resources I used, other Telegram group that I used was the pharmacy references, where you can get all those pharmacy references, pharmacy related books. For example, if you want to, search for calculations, you might receive calculation books. You will receive quite a few calculation books in the group. And I specifically recommend this book. This is the universal use. So this calculation book is useful for your evaluating as well as the qualifying examination. So all the questions, you can practice all the questions, you can go through the solutions as well from the book. So it's very helpful for you. from Pharmacy Prep by Dr. Misbah. Uh, so, so here you can see to the right hand side, Pharmacy EE. So you have live classes, online classes, reference books, QE, QBAN, enroll. So I enrolled for the online plus home study course. What attracted me to the course is that it was so helpful. Most of the coaching institutions would provide you with the theoretical information rather than doing the MCQs. So EE is a basic exam, and you have to go, cover a major portion of the syllabus, different topics. So it's a 74-page syllabus. You have to finish it in 3-4 months. It's not an easy task. Dr. Misbah's pharmacy prep was so focused on each topic that um, he prepared us on doing more and more MCQs. And the you know unfortunately my login has expired, so I cannot show you what is exactly in the bank, I mean in the online access. In that you would have some MCQs, for example, let me show you something. So it's only valid for 1 year. So you'll have recorded video lectures for each chapter. You'll have computer-based mock exams, which I did, really well before the EE exams. So the mock exam cover all the syllabus outlined in the PEBC. That's the important advantage when I saw it from Dr. Misbah. You'll have chapter-wise MCQ bank with answers and explanation. That's also a very attractive feature of the Dr. Misbah's pharmacy prep course. And if you want to check, for example, yeah, you'll see books and samples. So for each subject areas, Dr. Misbah would provide you with um, textbooks, which I had. So, for example, for the biomedical sciences, the contents would be, as we went through the human anatomy and physiology. So these are the different sections that's mentioned on the in the book. So, for example, if you want to take renal system, so you would have questions related to that specific chapter. You can practice. So for me, it was almost similar to the main exam. So when I was doing my PEBC exam, I finished my exam. I remember it was almost 1.5 hours earlier. It was, even though it felt hard for me, I completed it so fast. So it gave me a pace to do all the questions on time. So doing questions is more important when it comes to the basic exam, which is the EE. So you can check out, and then so each and every question, each and every chapter, you'll have a set of questions in a question bank. So that's how I prepared for 3 to 4 months using Dr. Misbah's MCQ bank. And yeah, that's it. That's how I prepared for the validating exam. Let me check whether I missed something. And you will see a demo tutorial on the website. So the demo tutorial, this is how usually the PEBC exam looks like. So here you'll have your last name, first name, confirm, accept, and then it's like this way, and you start the test. So you'll have a question. This is a small question, just 1 or 2 line questions, like MCQ. So this is more kind of direct questions, unlike the MCQ. So you'll select the most common, best option from the given, best answer from the given options. So this is how the examination works. Then finish exam. Yes, I would like to finish the exam. Yes. So the demo exam, like it's more like the PEBC exam. That's the same way how Dr. Misbah prepares us with the mock exam is more similar to the real exam. And let me check. That's it, I guess. I gave, and you'll find PEBC sample questions. I said the sample questions are more similar to um what I practiced with the bank. So you can see you'll have 115 sample questions maybe, and you'll have answer set of answers to the end of the exam. So you can see the answers to sample questions. You can practice this one. I'll be doing a video on calculations. I would be, giving a set of calculations for you to practice the common calculation questions that came for my exams, both of the exam. So you don't have to prepare separately for the EE and the MCQ in regards to the calculations. If you're confident enough with the calculations for the EE, it would help you better for the QE as well. So, and still, if you have any questions regarding um, any of the things that I mentioned, you can just write to me or give a text over LinkedIn. I can answer you, and that's it. Thanks for watching, and if you still do have any more questions, just comment below. We'll see you next video. Until then, bye bye.